Yo Gotti is sitting on a cold $200 million empire right now that has completely flipped the Memphis hip-hop game upside down and put Fraser on the global map in ways nobody could have ever predicted. Behind all them mansions, them iced-out watches worth more than most people's houses, and that flashy mogul lifestyle, this man was really out here in the trenches of North Memphis, grinding hard, hustling physical mixtapes straight out the trunk of his whip, building what would become one of the most powerful independent record labels in hip-hop. The real story behind how a young kid from the Ridgecrest apartments turned street-level hustle into a full-blown music empire, massive real estate portfolio, and literal sports team ownership is way more calculated and strategic than anyone imagined, and we're about to break down the entire blueprint. What's good, fam? We about to dive deep into some real mogul moves, serious business strategy, and the kind of long-term thinking that's been reshaping the entire hip-hop industry and showing people how to build actual generational wealth. Now, before we get into this whole success story, let me keep it 100 with y'all. Everyone sees the Lamborghinis, the watches worth $250,000 each, the mansion out in California. But yo, we about to separate the flash from the actual foundation. The Instagram lifestyle from the real legacy being built behind the scenes. May 19th, 1981. That's when Mario Mims entered this world in Memphis, Tennessee. This kid growing up in the Ridgecrest apartments over in Fraser, one of the toughest, most poverty-stricken neighborhoods in North Memphis, was about to embark on a journey from literal survival mode to building a legitimate $200 million business empire spanning music, real estate, hospitality, and professional sport. Hold up before y'all start thinking this is just another rags to riches rapper story. Yo Gotti's come up wasn't about one viral moment or one hit song. This man spent damn near 2 decades grinding in the underground, putting out project after project before mainstream success even touched him. But here's where it gets spicy. The music was really just the beginning of a much bigger business plan. So check it. We're going back to the mid-90s now. Young Mario Mims is around 14 years old, and he picks up the mic and starts rapping under the name Lil Yo. Now picture this scene for a second. Fraser in the 1990s, poverty everywhere you look, people hustling just to put food on the table, crime rates through the roof, opportunities basically non-existent for young black kids in the hood, and this teenager decides that music, specifically rap, is going to be his ticket out. But he's not in some fancy recording studio with producers and engineers. Nah, he's recording rough tracks wherever he can, burning CDs on whatever equipment he can get his hands on, and literally selling them hand to hand out of his car trunk, taking them to local mom and pop stores, hitting up street corners, posting up anywhere he could move units and make a few dollars. Now, in the hood, we all know what grinding means. It means survival by any means necessary. It means doing whatever you gotta do to eat, to survive another day. But Lil Yo's situation was different, and this is important because he saw rap not just as artistic expression or a way to vent about his circumstances. Nah, he saw it as legitimate business from day one. While everyone around him was caught up in street life, in the traps and all that came with it, he was building a music catalog, constantly developing his craft, studying the game, treating his music like an actual product that needed marketing, distribution, and a customer base. That business mindset at 14, 15 years old, that's what separated him from 1,000 other talented rappers who never made it out. From 1996 all the way through the mid-2000s, so we're talking about a solid 10-year stretch here, this man dropped independent album after independent album. We're talking From the Dope Game to the Rap Game, Self-Explanatory, Life, Back to the Basics, and several others. That's dedication right there. That's perseverance on another level. Most artists, most rappers give up after 1 or 2 projects don't pop off commercially when they don't get the streams or the radio play they were hoping for. But Yo Gotti kept pushing, kept recording, kept releasing music, kept building his underground fan base for over a decade before the mainstream industry even started to notice what he was building. But yo, this is where the story gets deeper than just underground rapper pays his dues and eventually makes it. See, 2009 hits and everything changes for real. 5 Star and Women Lie, Men Lie, which featured Lil Wayne, who was the biggest rapper on the planet at that time. Both go gold and crack the Billboard Hot 100. After 13 years of grinding, after over a decade of being in the trenches, putting out project after project, the major labels finally came calling. Record executives who wouldn't return his calls before are now trying to throw contracts at him. But here's the thing, and this is crucial to understanding Yo Gotti's mogul mentality. He didn't just sign a traditional deal and become another artist on someone else's roster, another name on a label's roster of artists they could control. Nah, he had way bigger plans than that. 2012. This is the year everything really shifts into empire building mode. Yo Gotti drops his major label debut album Live from the Kitchen, which does solid numbers and establishes him on a bigger platform. But more importantly, way more importantly for his long-term wealth and legacy, he founds his own record label, originally called Cocaine Music Group, or CMG for short. Now check this out, because this next part is crucial. In 2013, 50 Cent, another rapper who successfully transitioned into being a full-blown business mogul, pulls Gotti to the side and gives him some real game, some valuable advice. He tells him straight up to rebrand from Cocaine Music Group to Collective Music Group, keeping the CMG acronym but making it way more corporate-friendly, way more palatable for mainstream partnerships, business deals, and institutional investments. That name change wasn't just cosmetic. It wasn't just about sounding better. It was strategic business thinking. It showed that Gotti was thinking long-term, thinking about building a sustainable empire that could exist for decades, not just trying to be hot for a couple years and fade away. It showed he understood that to really build wealth, to really create something lasting, you gotta play the corporate game to some degree. You gotta be able to sit at tables with executives and investors who might be turned off by certain imagery or associations. 2016 to 2017 becomes his mainstream breakthrough era, when he goes from being a respected street rapper to a household name. The Art of Hustle drops in 2016 with Down in the DM becoming a full-blown cultural moment. And I mean, everybody was talking about sliding in DMs. It became a whole social media thing, memes everywhere. The song was inescapable. Then 2017's I Still Am gives him his highest charting single ever, Rake It Up featuring Nicki Minaj, which dominated radio and clubs all summer. Point, Yo Gotti isn't just a rapper anymore. He's a brand, he's a business, he's a whole movement. His name carries weight not just in Memphis, but nationally, internationally. But while all this music success is happening, while he's getting radio spins and streaming numbers and touring, Gotti is simultaneously making major moves behind the scenes that most fans don't even see or understand the significance of. He's not just living off his rap money like a lot of artists do. He's taking those earnings and strategically investing them into building real, sustainable wealth across multiple industries and sectors. The real kicker though, the real game changer is what happens with CMG over the next few years. By 2021, Collective Music Group Inc.'s distribution deals with both Epic Records and Interscope Records, two of the absolute biggest, most powerful labels in the entire music industry. But unlike traditional label deals where the artist basically gives up control, gives up ownership of their masters, gives up decision-making power, Gotti structured these deals so that CMG maintains its complete autonomy, its independence, while simultaneously accessing all the resources, the marketing budgets, the radio connections, the industry muscle that major labels bring to the table. That's the kind of deal-making that takes real business acumen, real negotiating skills. And then he starts building out the roster, signing artists strategically. Moneybagg Yo becomes a star, going platinum multiple times. Black Youngsta brings his own energy and fan base. GloRilla blows up huge with FNF and becomes one of the hottest female rappers in the game. 42 Dugg out of Detroit expands CMG's reach beyond just Memphis. Gotti is giving opportunities to raw talent from Memphis and similar environments who might not have gotten major label looks otherwise, who might have been overlooked by traditional A&Rs sitting in New York or LA offices. This is empire building in real time, creating a pipeline for the next generation, building something that can exist and thrive even beyond his own rap career. For y'all who might not fully understand the significance of this whole label move, let me break it down in simpler terms. Most rappers, even successful ones, sign to labels as artists. They make some good money, maybe they get to start their own little imprint under that parent label, but they never truly own the infrastructure, they never really control the business side, they're essentially still employees in a sense, still dependent on the bigger machine. Yo Gotti built CMG as a fully independent entity first, proved its value in the marketplace, showed he could break artists and move units, and then partnered with majors from a position of strength, from a position of leverage. He came to the negotiating table already having something valuable, already having proven his business model works. That's the fundamental difference between being an artist who works for a label and being a CEO who runs a label that partners with other labels as equals. Now, this ain't just about the music business, and this is where Gotti really shows that mogul mindset, that next level thinking. This is about wealth diversification, real, serious mogul moves that create multiple income streams that aren't dependent on each other. While CMG is growing and signing artists and putting out hit records, Yo Gotti is simultaneously investing heavily in real estate. He's buying properties, flipping them for profit, building a portfolio of assets that generate passive income and appreciate in value over time. He opens Privé Restaurant and Lounge in Memphis, getting into the hospitality industry, creating another business that employs people from his community and generates revenue completely independent of his music career. Then comes what might be the biggest flex, the move that really shows he's playing chess while others are playing checkers. He buys a minority stake in DC United, a Major League Soccer franchise. Just think about that for a second. A kid from the Fraser Projects, from one of the poorest neighborhoods in Memphis, is now a professional sports team owner. He's in ownership meetings with billionaires and millionaires, making decisions about a sports franchise. That's not just wealth, that's generational wealth. That's the kind of investment that could be worth exponentially more in 20 or 30 years. The visible success, the lifestyle we see, tells its own powerful story. A 10,000 square foot mansion out in California, not just big, but strategically located in an area where property values consistently appreciate. A watch collection worth multiple millions of dollars, featuring pieces from Rolex, Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin. And these aren't just flashy accessories. These are timepieces that are actually investments that hold their value and often appreciate significantly over time. High-end luxury cars, designer everything, private jets for business travel. But here's what separates Yo Gotti from rappers who just spend money trying to look rich. These assets either hold or increase in value. The mansion is real estate in a prime market. The watches are appreciating assets that collectors will pay even more for years down the line. The sports franchise stake could legitimately be worth tens of millions more in 10 or 20 years as MLS continues to grow in popularity and franchise values skyrocket. Every purchase is strategic, every investment is calculated. According to recent valuations, Yo Gotti's empire, combining music revenues, streaming, touring, CMG's valuation, real estate holdings, the restaurant, sports ownership, and personal assets, is valued at approximately $100 million. What's wild is how recent that number is. Just 3 or 4 years ago, estimates had him in the tens of millions. The growth has been exponential because he's not just making money and spending it. He's multiplying it through strategic investments, business ownership, diversification. Every dollar works for him, generates more dollars. This is about setting up his family for generations, fundamentally changing what's possible for kids from where he came from. At the end of the day, Yo Gotti's story isn't just about a rapper getting rich. It's about complete transformation of mindset, of identity, of what's possible when you come from nothing. This man could have easily been another statistic, another talented kid swallowed up by poverty and circumstances. Instead, he used music as the vehicle, but understood early that real wealth is in ownership, diversification, building infrastructure. From selling CDs out his trunk to owning a label with major distribution, from renting in the hood to owning mansion-level real estate, from wearing jewelry to flex to investing in appreciating assets. Every move was calculated. The impact goes beyond personal wealth. By building CMG and elevating artists from Memphis and similar backgrounds, Gotti is changing the narrative about who gets opportunities, proving that regional, independent hip-hop can compete with traditional major label structures. He's showing young artists they don't have to give up control to win, that they can build their own empire and partner strategically from strength. That's fundamentally different from the old model where labels had all the power. The real question is, where does this empire go from here? At $100 million with multiple growing revenue streams, a label consistently breaking new artists, appreciating real estate, a sports franchise that could 10 times in value. The sky's the limit. Will CMG become the next Def Jam or Cash Money? Will his real estate portfolio hit hundreds of millions? Will sports ownership make him a billionaire in 20 years? The blueprint he's created is already being studied by the next generation of artist entrepreneurs. From Fraser to Forbes, from Lil Yo to CEO, from hustling mixtapes to owning a label with major distribution, from survival mode to generational wealth. That's the multi-millionaire life of Yo Gotti, living proof that with vision, patience, strategic thinking, and refusing to accept your circumstances as your destination, you can completely transform your reality. What are your thoughts on Yo Gotti's business moves and his journey from underground Memphis rapper to $100 million mogul? Do you think more artists should follow his blueprint of building their own labels and diversifying investments? What other rappers have successfully made the transition from artist to legitimate mogul? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell. Check out the videos on screen for more stories about hip-hop moguls building empires beyond music. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.